Of that match, we saw you holding up a picture of your family to the camera. It must mean a lot to be doing this for them back home.
Of course, I won't be here without my family. They've always been my inspiration, my wife, my kids. So, yeah, everything that I achieve in life is all because of them. And of course, to my fans and to all the world who support this game.
Yeah, well, that push out on the 2-ball when you rolled out to the end rail, what were you feeling? Just like
yeah, I know. I mean, I think he's not gonna play that shot, so I just push it there. If I make that shot, I at least I have a chance to get out on the rack, because I know he won't shoot that one too long.
Yeah, it was the rack of the tournament for me. I'll tell you that. What an out!
Good. It was just lucky shot.
And what's the plan now? Because you've got a few hours until the final. Will you stick around to find out who your opponent's going to be? Are you going to be on the practice table?
I'm just gonna go back to room and talk to my wife, and my wife is my coach, so I'll just ask her what to do later in the final.
Very, very wise man. We'll let you go and prepare for that. We do, of course, have one more semi-final to bring you, so let's hear from both players now.
I'm Skyler Woodward. I'm in the European Open semifinals.
I'm Mickey Krause. This is the European Open, and I'm in the semifinal.
Feels great, to get back to the end of the tournament and have a chance at a title. Just gonna push hard and hopefully get the 2 wins today.
It's the first time I got in the quarterfinal. Now it's the first time I get in the semifinal, and I'm just really happy to be here. I always think that I can win because I know I can beat everybody, so it doesn't really change anything. I just have to win 2 more matches, and then I'm there,
Plan is always to get a lead and keep it, but yeah, I was behind the last 2 matches and just waited for my chance, and thankfully squeaked them both out, but just happy to get through.
I like Skyler's game. I always thought he was a really strong player. I think he won an event or 2 before, like professional events, so he definitely can pull something out of the hat.
Yeah, I know Mickey pretty well. He's been in the States quite a bit, and I know he's a great player, and I just gotta, keep doing what I'm doing and do everything I can to win the match.
I don't want to jinx anything, and I know they can play unbelievable pool, so we all can.
I know it'll be tough, and we're both trying to get to our first major final, so it'll be a good one.
Yes, so much confidence there, in particular from Mickey. But one thing that stands out to me, when I spoke to him yesterday after his quarter-final match, he said, I've not played on the TV table yet, and we know how differently that is running. How much of a bearing could that have on this match?
Well, I mean, the actual material, I think, compared to past tournaments, I think they're closer to the outer tables, or let's say the outer tables are closer this week to this table. The weather's been perfect here in Fulda all week. The bed's probably going to be a little faster. The break may be a little bit different at times, but I think he'll handle it. I think it's just a few shots you kind of get ingrained in the head, and then you just kind of swing the cue.
And I guess it emphasizes the importance of that practice rack when they come out here.
Yeah, for sure. And both players are playing great. They both kind of got here different ways. Skyler kind of making some comebacks. The Dane holding off some big leads and taking some big players down.
Yeah, a lot of squeaky bum time for Skyler Woodward so far in this tournament. Of course, that game against Gorst yesterday where he came from 9-5 down to come through a hill thriller. That'll give him a lot of confidence. What will that tell him about where his game is right now?
Well, he's gotten better every match. I mean, what happens with Skyler is, again, you get heated up, the adrenaline gets going, and then you're right back where you should be. And at the end of the matches, he's always been good. We've always known him to be great in the Moscone Cup. So when the pressure's on, Skyler's ready for it, and I think Mickey is as well.
And looking for that first major triumph, you've been in this setup, you've been in this situation. For Skyler Woodward, who keeps re-emphasizing the importance of just playing with freedom right now, how important is that?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's kind of how the kid rolls anyways, right? I mean, he never sweats it. I've been on the golf course with him when he's kind of in trouble and he seems to come with a shot. He knows what he's doing on the pool table. I think it's going to be big blows from both these young men, and I think it's going to be one heck of a match.
Absolutely. We cannot wait to find out who Johan Chua is going to be playing in the final of this year's European Open. So let's get our semi-finalists out onto the table.
time for semi-final number 2. Who will be taking on Johan Chua in tonight's final? It's time to get our players to the table. Up first, a gentleman who will be invading motion from the Viking, but he is ready, I can assure you. His opponent is Team USA's Mosconi.
Mullen.
Thanks, Abby. Good afternoon, everyone. The last Matchroom Open event was the UK Open, and by the time it got to the semis, we knew we were going to have a new winner of a big Matchroom individual title. It's taken us a little longer to reach that stage here, but with Shane Van Boening now gone, we can say with absolute certainty it is going to be the biggest individual day of someone's pool life so far. Obviously, Skyler Woodward has had great success in Mosconi's part of those back-to-back American wins. Johan Chua has had a World Cup win, but none of the 3 remaining players has won a big individual title of this sort of stature. That is going to change over the next number of hours here in Fulda. Carl alongside me, and first, Carl, let's get your thoughts on Johan Chua. Wonderful, wonderful performance to see off Shane Van Boening.
Yeah, really good performance. Got to do it when it matters. On the final day at an open event on the World 9-Ball Tour. He's got a very good break to it, and he's got this sort of cool arrogance about himself. He likes to go for the big shots, he likes to go for the tricky shots. He's not scared to play a push out and sort of test his opponent and sort of say, well, if you don't take it on, I'm going to have a go, and he nails it most of the time. He's a fabulous player to watch. You know, if you're not a Chua fan and you're sort of sat on the fence, he's a great player to watch.
And what about what Abby was saying there? Because it's a good point. Krause isn't used to playing on the main table, and we have seen a number of times in these big events where it's down to the last day, someone's in the semi-finals, so they have to then play on the main table, and to be honest, they do end up struggling with it and don't play their game. It's kind of hard to see that happening to Mickey Krause. He doesn't seem like that sort of character.
I just always feel like the first few racks, he's crucial. Mustafa Alnar didn't play great against Joshua Filler, but if you remember the first rack, Michael, I think it was me and you doing the match. Me and Phil, as you shake your head. But the first rack, he had an opportunity and he took the finish and he knocked a pretty good finish in, and that just sort of relaxes you straight away. If you get off to a bad start, every shot just seems to look harder, and then the run of the ball feels like it goes against you, and it can feel a very lonely place out there. So the start of the match is always going to be key for a newbie, if you like, as where Woodward He's got the experience. You know, I know he's not won an Open event. He's not won a World 9-ball title or a US Open. But I'll tell you what he has done. He's played in the biggest pressure cooker of them all, the Mosconi Cup.
Yeah, part of those back-to-back wins, as I said. And the first of those was actually away from home. And they'd lost 8 in a row at that stage, the Americans. So the term pressure cooker was absolutely right for that. Of course, you talk about being out there and being inexperienced on the main table. I think we saw that at the UK Open, didn't we, with another Scandinavian player, Petri Mäkinen, who's been on the main table probably more than Mickey Krause. But he seemed to struggle with it. Of course, there's the enormity of what you might be about to achieve as well, no matter what the circumstances are and how many people are watching. It's a chance to change your pool life when you get to a situation like this.
The thing is, Michael, obviously, you know, you've not played in a Mosconi Cup, but you've been there. You've
Not
worked,
yet, not yet.
Yeah, you're trying. You keep
Yeah.
practicing, don't you, outside every time I walk past. But you've worked in the event. You've seen the arena, 2,500, 3,000 people, all screaming and shouting. There is nothing like it to test your nerves. So even though this man here, Woodward, is yet to win one of these Open events, it sort of doesn't matter. It's not a case of, you know, like with Kibito, we were questioning, could he go on and win the event? Could he really do it? But Woodward, he's won big points for America, hasn't he? In the Mosconi Cup. And he's played in a lot of them. He's played in the biggest arena we have in pool. So he'll definitely be able to handle it. And as you were just talking about, Krauss yet to play on this table as well. Woodward, who was 9-5 down against the world champ. We just all thought Fedor Gors was going to win, probably go on and win the tournament. The comeback, Michael, sensational.
Yeah, it was one of those where it almost seemed to
On well with Mickey. And it's good to see him deliver on this stage now. Here comes the lag nearest to the top rail. We'll break first. He's got an unusual lag there, Mickey Krause. You see where he put the cue ball?
Mickey a 1D lag.
And he almost rolls the cue ball at an angle. Most players just go up and down.
so often on these big occasions. We're used to seeing Ko Pin Yi and Ko Ping Chung. Today, Carl, it's Copenhagen. Mickey Krause taking to the table.
Fair enough, the first break, you're not always going to find that sweet spot to pop the one, but I think a ball got kicked into the bottom right corner, so he stays at the table.
Push out called.
Calls the push out straight away because he's hooked. Yeah, it was a green 6 that went in that corner pocket. After the break, the very next shot, you can call a push-out. You must tell the referee. That's why you heard Marcel Eckert say push-out.
Skyler, it's your choice.
And basically, you can pretty much do anything you want on the pool table. So Mickey just hit the 5 ball. If the 5 goes in the pocket, it doesn't matter. Still the same situation. You can actually pot the 9 on a push-out. If you do that, it goes on the spot pretty much where it is right now. So just remember that if you've decided to go for a game of pool tonight.
No one will be doing that. They'll all be watching the final of the European Open, Carl.
He'll be on in the clubs, pal. Relax.
That's a fair point. Skyler Woodward,
Mickey,
31
please play
years of
again.
age, ranked number 16 in the world, which is unchanged from the start of 2024.
And this is what is very good about the push-out. The fact that Skyler comes to the table, he weighs all the options up, doesn't fancy it. He puts Mickey Krause back in. You know, in some tournaments over the years, people have put a 9-ball event on and got rid of the push-out, Michael. That's complete nonsense, though. Don't get rid of the push-out. It's a great rule. Krause played a clever shot there. He played rail first. And when you do that type of shot, the 1 ball always comes back into that centre of the table. And then the cue ball runs back down the bottom. So he's just playing a distance.
The extension, please.
Containing safety.
The thing with the push-out, of course, it's a limited number of balls, a small playing area. There are only so many different variations you can have in the game. The push-out just brings a bit more variety to it, and that's got to be a good thing.
He'll be playing safe here, Will Woodward.
Foul stroke.
Oh, that's not a good one, is it?
Ball in hand.
Way too fat there. What I mean by
And please
that
stop the shot clock.
is it the 1 ball too thick? Wanted to hit it thinner.
Yeah, you could tell as soon as he made contact with the one that the cue ball was heading where it ended up. And this is nice for Mickey Krause in the opening rack. Ball in hand, good chance to get himself started.
Yeah, and it's what we were talking about during the practice racks, Michael. This is what you need when you're playing your first match of the week here on the TV table. It does play a little bit different to the outer tables because you've got the big TV lighting. It's very warm in that arena, so the table plays a lot quicker. It's a lot more responsive, but look at the table layout. It's very easy, this. It's a great little starter for Krause. Still got to get the job done. Got to force this one. It's a bit straight. Yeah, that's why he pumped it in.
Krause, the younger of the two, only 23 years of age, 29th in the world rankings, but that's a huge climb from 68 at the start of the year.
I'm sure as this match goes on, Mr. McMullen will be throwing some facts and figures because Krause, he must be up there on the rankings near the top for the Moscone Cup, right?
Yep, we'll be talking about that. And he can make a huge difference to it today. 9,500 points for getting to the semi-finals. If you win, it's 30,000. So he's got this big opportunity now to massively increase his haul and put himself on the brink of being in the team for the first time.
Yeah, and the previous shot was all about lack of play on this table, and it's only rack 1. Doesn't want to be straight on the 8, otherwise he's asking a lot positional-wise. I think he's got a bit of an angle. May have to put a big power stroke on this and go forward off 2 rails. Well, he's aiming low. Yeah, so he's dead straight. He's drawing it with left. Could go wrong. Could leave a 50-yarder. No, he's okay. He's come past that line. And that's not bad. This is the type of shot that comes up a lot in 9-ball. The 9 stays in that racking area. How many times do we see this type of shot, Michael?
No problem at all then for Mickey Krause. He got ball in hand and very efficiently carved out the opening rack. 1-0 to the semi-final newcomer. Yeah, he's number 5 at the moment in the European standings. If he wins the tournament, he'll overtake second place Joshua Filler. We've been talking for a few years about who's going to be the next player to make that breakthrough. Because as we saw last year, it's so hard to crack into the European team. The side that won in London last year was exactly the same as the team that had won the Mosconi in 22. It may well be Mickey Krause is the one. He's certainly the man of the moment. Skyler Woodward will definitely be playing in the Mosconi Cup. We've known that for some time. It was part of the deal in terms of becoming a playing captain that if he doesn't qualify automatically, he has to use one of his 2 wildcard picks on himself. We were saying at the start of the week, there was a realistic chance that Shane Van Boening might not qualify automatically. Of course, if that had been the case, well, surely he would have got one of the picks. So Woodward might effectively not had any decisions to make. Clearly that's all changed with Van Boening going far here. As I said, he's up to number 29 in the world, and he will make another big leap forward.
Second rack.
On the back of this.
Leading by 1 rack to nil.
But all that's for the future. In the present day, he's off to a good start.
Foul stroke. Ball in hand.
Yeah, ball in hand, 1 shot. You can put it anywhere on the table. I just want to take a look where the pink 4 ended up. That's what I was glancing at.
Please start the clock.
It's landed a little funny. It does go past the 9 in that corner. We can see that. But you've still got to get from that red 3 ball down into that bottom right area for a shot on that pink ball. So that's going to be the key shot in this rack for Skyler. That's what he's looking at.
Cruised through his first couple of matches this week,
please.
Woodward, for a total loss of only 3 racks. And was pushed a bit more by Daniel Guttenberger in winners' qualification, but got through 9-6 and then 10-7 against Konrad Yusashin, so that was another tricky one. Comfortable against Simon Corral with a 10-3 win. Then the great comeback against Fedor Gorst from 9-5 down to win 10-9. And also turned it around after falling well behind against Daniel Maciol to come through in another hill finish last night.
Yeah, if you look at where he chose to put the cue ball, he's left an angle where he'll swing it round off 3 rails. That's why he's aiming low on the cue ball. Watch the cue ball. Oh, he's drawn it. This is not easy. It's so easy to lose your cue ball, and he has done. A little bit surprised. I think maybe he overrun the cue ball on the previous positional shot. Well, I got lucky though. Maybe able to lead the hook. Got to hit a rail after contact. There you see the pink 4. That's fine. It's a legal shot. If that 4 ball would not have reached the rail, it's actually a foul ball in hand.
Seems a good time just to remind you of the fundamentals of 9-ball if you're new to the game or you haven't seen much of it for a while. So long as you hit the lowest numbered ball remaining on the table first, then any pot you make is legal and you stay at the table. The winner of the rack is the player who pots the 9-ball, irrespective
Extension call.
of how many balls have been potted by each player up until then. So it's really just a battle for control, isn't it, from start to finish, Carl?
Yeah, you're both shooting at the same ball, so as long as Krause hits this, you never know what you're going to be left, and this will work out very handy. That's the danger if you don't clear the table when you've got the opportunity like Woodward. Yeah, he played the safe, but He's almost put himself in this position because he had ball in hand and didn't clear the table. Should be an easy hit, this. He wants to hit the top of the pink. That way the cue ball will go up table. When you hit the bottom, the 4's gone up, he'll be delighted with this, especially if the 9 comes over and hooks, which it does. Brucey bonus there.
Mickey Krause was the only player to make the semi-finals, having lost earlier in the tournament. He was sent to the one-loss side by Wu Kunlin in winners' qualification. Not sure how intentional that was, but he's made the 7 in the side, and that underlines what I was saying earlier. So long as you hit the lowest numbered ball first, you can pot any ball and stay at the table.
Hard to see if that pink 4 ball will go into the pocket past the 8. If it does, it was not a good safety shot from Krause. He's playing the hook, little stun shot. It's actually probably better hitting the point, because if it didn't hit the point, it was going up towards that corner and maybe one of the rails, and when the ball's on the rail, it's a bigger target to hit. So, believe it or not, this is tougher to hit. He might just miss this ball. Yeah, good contact. Where's it going to end up? Oh, Mickey Krause. He might have thought he'd got away with that one, but Skyler can swerve around the 9, hit the rail, and then pop the 8 ball using that pink 4. It's definitely on. It's going off the top rail, so it's too much of a bigger swerve. Same principle though. He'll hit 2 rails and try and hit the 4 ball. Nobody wants rack 2 at the moment.
Foul stroke.
He played that shot like he really doesn't want it. That was a strange one. Bit clumsy.
And please start the shot clock.
Yeah, he was actually trying to hit the bottom rail with a little bit of side spin and trickle in behind the 8 ball. Yeah, Skyler's not got 5 balls just to tap in. The green 6 and the 9 ball have tied up. So he's got to knock it away, and the issue he's got here is if he rolls into the 6, 6 might roll onto the rail, doesn't go past the 8. That's why he played it hard, and this was the issue with the shot. At least he's got an angle here though. I know it's gone wrong, that's why he's having a little smile. Yeah, there's a little bit to work with. So he's got to go into the 2 balls here, he's not guaranteed a shot. Drawing, strange shot selection here. I always thought you'd go forward off the bottom rail, then into him. He can't catch a roll at the minute. Well, the referee, yeah, you can see he is on this one.
Foul. That goes forward, so it has to be a foul.
There's no way, but that's fine.
Well, let's check again.
You're the ref, that's all.
We're gonna check it. We're gonna check that.
Yeah, it's always a bit of a
Can we
funny
have a
one,
replay
this.
for that, please? What is the unruling there?
I'll tell you what the issue you've got here, Michael. you can't physically see if it's a foul. You're supposed to be able to see if it's a foul. The cue ball has to go
Skyler,
forward.
to me, that ball runs forward, so it has to be a double hit.
Yeah, I mean,
Foul stroke.
it sort of is a double hit, but
Ball in hand.
it's a strange one. I don't know.
Please start the clock.
Social media will be blowing up in the next 5 minutes. I know that much.
Good thing I'll say there, at least that was handled decisively and a decision was made. We had the incident at the UK Open a couple of years ago in the semi-final. Shane Van Boening had a disputed call. That was with Marcel Eckhart as well, and it just seemed to drag on, and they were going over and back looking at it again and again. This time, a decision's been made quickly, and it could be a big one because off the back of it, Mickey Krause has been let on, and instead of getting level, Skyler Woodward finds himself 2-0 down. So, early drama, Carl.
Yeah, listen, it's early stages. It's nothing to worry about at the moment. It's only rack 2, but here's another look. Yeah, it's such a grey area in the rule book because Marcel's right what he's saying. The cue ball goes forward, so really it is a double hit because the cue pushes right through the cue ball. But you can't really see the foul, can you? I thought you had to see the foul physically. It's always been a weird rule.
But I guess what he's arguing is that he's regarding the evidence of the cue ball going forward as having seen the foul.
Yeah, it's almost like you need a super close-up of the cue and the cue ball and sort of see what happens with that type of shot. You know, in super slow-mo, it's a strange one anyway, but it will be in the rule book, so Marcel knows the rules better than anyone, and he's not wrong.
I think Skyler was looking up at the screen.
Can you take your seat, please, as quickly as possible?
He's still not happy about it, talking to someone in the crowd. Point is, it's gone now.
Third rack.
He's got to try to put it out of his head.
Leading 2-0.
Yeah, ideally, Woodward gets opportunity in rack 3, he wins the rack and it's all forgot about. Worst case scenario is Krause runs a 4-pack, but he won't be running a 4-pack.
Ball in hand.
There you go, ball in hand again.
So are you saying that, as far as you understand it, unless he physically sees the double hit, he shouldn't call a foul?
Please start the clock.
Whereas I think the argument Marcel is making is that for the balls to have moved the way they did, it had to be a foul. So he's taking that as having seen it. Is that the grey area you're talking about?
Yeah, listen, Marcel's not wrong. He knows the rules. It's in the rules. So I'm never going to dispute against that call. But I sort of know what Skyler Woodward's saying. And I also thought, I don't know if it's in the rules now, but I remember years ago, I thought if your cue was elevated by a certain degree, that was deemed as okay as well. So, for instance, if your cue's parallel with the table, so you was down on a normal shot and you just whack your cue right through the balls, it's a foul because you're pushing through all the balls. So that's what the ruling is, and that's why Marcel Eckhart called the foul. Listen, it'll all be forgot about as long as Woodward clears the table here. We're only 2 racks into a race to 11. And what I mean by that is it's a game of momentum, is 9-ball. Your emotions go up and down, so 1 minute Woodward thinks the world's against him. He's played a poor positional shot here. Now he's going to have to go forward with loads of power. And if you don't hit the middle of the pocket here, Michael, we're seeing these balls spit out all week. Now he's looking at if he can draw back to where his cue is. That's not going to be easy to stop the cue ball there.
And if he doesn't take this opportunity to win the rack now, it's only going to compound a sense of frustration and injustice over the previous rack. Of course, we've got a break coming up at the end of rack 3, so wouldn't mind betting he might try to engage in further discussion, which would be absolutely futile at this stage. The rack is gone, and there's nothing anybody can do now to change it anyway.
He's overdone it. Yeah, so rack 3 now is really turning into a crucial one. Really pull that big target just to bank that 7 ball back up and keep the heat on Woodward. That's what Krause has to do. He knows Woodward's having a bit of a breakdown at the minute. You don't just want to hand the rack on a plate. You want to make him work for it.
Should take it from here. Yeah, the 7 that he missed, sort of shot you don't want to have when you're feeling a bit tetchy and edgy, which, as you say, I'm sure he is after the events of the previous rack. But it's not going to cost him in the end. Well, all of the first 3 racks really could have gone either way. Oh! And instead of winning all of the first 3, as he might have done, Skyler Woodward is going to end up losing all 3. What is going on in his head at the moment? All sorts of thoughts. He had his grievances about the previous rack. He was the architect of his own undoing there. Mickey Krause with a gift of a 9 off this miss. 3-0. Well, what do you make of that, Carl? That's got to go back to what happened in the previous rack.
Yeah, what a mistake. After all that's happened in rack 2, Michael, and you can just forget about it and you miss a straight 9. Unbelievable.
So he reacted straight away. I think "no way" were the words he used when Marcel made the call against him. Then Marcel calmly explaining his position. They had one look at it on the screen, and now they're still talking about it. Well, they keep talking all the way up to the start of rack 4. Woodward in trouble here, 3-0 down. controversy over a refereeing call in rack 2, but Skyler Woodward would probably have been able to put that behind him to some degree had he taken rack 3. It looked as though he was going to, and then all his frustration seemed to come out. He missed the 9, confirming to us that he was fighting internal battles. Both players actually left the arena at the end of the rack, but in Woodward's case, not before he had continued the discussion about it, with referee Marcel Eckhart and Julian Roper, who's also involved in the officiating of the match. Sorry, that's Ben Taylor Fuente, of course, not Julian. Skyler making his case, but what's the point in getting involved in this, Carl? It's gone now. It's not going to change. Even if Marcel did agree with him, he can't go back and change the score. So what's the point in this? Or is it just venting a bit of frustration? Does the crowd show what they think about it all?
Well, Woodward
Default Frank.
bringing the house
Krause
down.
to break, leading the match by 3 racks to 0.
Listen, I think after the match, regardless of what goes on, and Skyler starts having a chat with his fellow pros, that happens a lot behind the scenes. The pool players love a good old gossip. He'll see sense, he'll notice a foul. But as you rightly said, Michael, forget about it. It is what it is. He's 3 down in a race to 11. He's had 2 great comebacks. That's helped him get to the semi-finals. He knows Mickey Krause will be feeling it, so it's all about running him down the line, testing the old back arm, seeing if he can handle the heat.
Krause probably can't believe what's going on here. He's not actually played great. He's made a few mistakes himself. He's not broken well. And he's 3-0 up.
Your choice, Mickey.
In a way, it's a little bit of history repeating, because Woodward was in 2 big matchroom semi-finals last year and lost them both quite heavily in the end. Now, he was up against players who did play well and got into good leads against them, but having sort of freewheeled to get to that stage, once he got to the semis, he did seem to tense up a bit on both occasions. Maybe happening again today, but this time because of circumstances.
What's he eyeing up here? Ooh, good effort. All the balls are in the open. Pink 4 to the purple 5.
Talked about those 2 big semi-finals last year. It was part of an overall very good 2023 for Woodward. Hasn't fired yet so far this year, really. Did get to the last 16 of the UK Open, but in the World Championship he didn't even get to the 64-player single elimination stage. So this is first long run in one of these major events this year.
The previous positional shot was very good. That one just left himself a bit of a wide angle here. If he was a bit further left, this would have been a hanger. He's got to really get the cue ball stopping quick. This could fly off. He's missed the ball. That is because, Michael, his cue ball was too wide. He just wanted another couple of cue balls to the left. Oh, he's really going through at the minute. The poor kid. You got a feel for him.
Jeremy was talking the other day about the idea of caddies in pool. He wasn't seriously suggesting it. He was just saying, what would it be like if you had someone in your corner who was talking you through it all? Well, this would be a prime example of where Skyler Woodward could really use one right now.
Well, Ferro has got one pretty much.
Yeah, well, there's nothing against anyone talking to you.
No, listen, I think at some point, as the tour grows and more dollars are up for grabs, I think players are going to start to need it, because I know people watch, you know, amateur pool players who obviously don't play as good as the pros. A lot of people think the game of 9 ball's easy because they're fooled, because maybe they've watched a bit of snooker or maybe English 8 ball, Chinese 8 ball, whatever. Because the pockets are a bit more generous, people just think it's easy. Believe me, come and play. It is not easy.
Mickey Krause wins the rack.
Well, Mickey Krause is really being handed these racks at the moment, but he's doing his part of the bargain, leading 4-0. But what is the protocol, Carl, on that? If you wanted to have someone sitting beside you, giving you pointers rack after rack, is there anything against that?
I mean, are you talking about 2 chairs in the arena, or are you talking about during the ad break, you walk out the arena and then your coach has a word with you?
Well, we see that all the time, don't we, during breaks, people coming out and talking.
Yeah, I mean, listen, as far as I know, I don't think it's against any rules if a coach wants to come up to the side of the arena and say, come on, kid, kick on, forget about it. This was the miss.
Yeah, as you said, it went back to leaving himself too wide with the cue ball, and of course any little challenging shot, anything that isn't routine, seems so much harder to him at the moment with these mental battles he's fighting.
Yeah, and if you pot that ball clean, you have to really time it well to get the cue ball stopping quicker because of the big angle. That's why you hit the rail too early. And the worst thing about this for Woodward is we have all these TVs around the arena, and as soon as you make a mistake, it gets put on them screens, and look, he's there having a look thinking, how did I miss that?
Well, look, it's happened now, so it's better for him to be putting up some sort of smile than sitting there looking like it's the end of the world, because he's got to turn this around. Yes, it's race to 11. He's had 2 big fight backs already in the last couple of rounds, but he can't afford to let this gap get too much bigger. 4-0 Krause.
Cue ball's close. Ooh. And he's got a shot on the blue too. And even though it is 4-0, I mean, Skyler doesn't miss the 9, he doesn't miss the 6. It's 2-2, and that's with all the foul issue that we had. So I think he's still in this game, you know. I know he's got to win racks soon before he starts to get really hard, but I just feel like there's more pool to be played just yet in this semi-final.
That was actually the first time on his 5th attempt that Krause has made the one in the side off his break. But what a dream scenario for Krause. 4-0 up without having done anything all that great himself. And looking across and seeing his opponent clearly battling with himself inside his own head. He sees an opportunity here, surely, to get this match almost won in the next few racks. As I said, he's only 23. He's been around a while already. Started going on decent runs in events around Europe, around about 2019 and into 2020. And then, of course, like so many other players, had his progress stalled by COVID.
Yeah, what about this? Mickey Krause has spent a lot of time locked in Niels Fyen's house in his private games room at home, because he lives in Denmark, of course. Niels' wife is from Denmark, Katrine.
Yeah, she was here with him this week.
Yeah, she was a tidy player herself back in the day. Don't worry about that. So Mickey Krause has got a great practice partner.
Mickey Krause.
And that was a pretty tidy rack. Mickey Krause gets the break and run. Nothing handed to him on a plate there. He's already almost halfway to victory. And in dreamland, it's 5-0. Now, on the grounds that you should never go too long without hearing a Welsh accent, here's Abby.
Yeah, I'm now joined by our world champion and world #1, Ferro. You're here supporting your Mosconi Cup team captain, Skyler Woodward. You just had a little word with him. Confident he can get his way back into this one?
Yeah, he's had a rough start so far, but he's been down his last 2 matches, so I'm hoping for him to come back. Obviously, I'm rooting for him. He's my teammate for Mosconi Cup, and yeah, so far it's not looking good, but hopefully he'll be back.
Yeah, I hate to remind you, but you will know more than anyone that he is capable of producing a comeback. What have you made of the opening few racks, and how difficult is it to put what has happened to the back of your mind?
Well, yeah, definitely experienced it by myself. Yeah, I wish you played like this against me, you Skyler. But yeah, I think what he needs to do is just get a few balls in, and then his confidence will be back, and he's going to be fighting. It's not over yet. It's a race to 11. It's only 5-0.
And on a serious note, away from this game, you were one of a number of players yesterday who came out with a statement in support of the Asian players with everything that they are going through at the moment, with the bans in place for the Hanoi Open. How important is it, as world #1, world champion, that you stand in solidarity right now?
Yeah, I think everybody, all of us players, it's great that we stand together and we all got together and came to one agreement that, we have to stop playing in those tournaments because something has to change, and that's terrible what was going on and still going on. I was banned myself for numerous reasons, and I fully not support what they do, and hopefully that's going to make a change.
Yeah, thank you very much for speaking to us about that. We look forward to seeing you back in action at the US Open in just 8 days' time, of course, but let's get back to the main action here.
Well, that was great, wasn't it? We were just talking about getting a bit of a
practice.
G-up and a pep
Mickey
talk
Krause
between
today.
racks, and then
Leading
Skyler's
by
got
5
Federer,
breaks.
who's pretty much his best mate on the tour, giving him a public pep talk between racks. Nothing he could have done about the 5th, though. Mickey Krause with a break and run, and 5-0 up now.
Mickey Krause coming into this match today would never have thought in his wildest dreams this is how the opening 5 racks would pan out. He's not really had much to do, in fairness.
I mean, he's scratched off the break a couple of times, had another one that was dry.
That's what I mean, Michael. If you'd have told me any pool match starts off that way, I'd say, well, you're going to be a few racks down. Don't worry about that. But he's had ball in hand off that foul. He's potted a 9 over the pocket. Then he's potted the 6 over the pocket, 7, 8, 9. I mean, that's just 3 racks I can remember. Not his fault, of course. It is what it is. You take what the table gives you.
Skyler Woodward was talking to me the other day about just how free he feels in his mind coming here. He hadn't actually done a great deal of preparation following the birth of his daughter, his second child, Bristol. Already has a boy called Daxton. And he was just here seeing how things went, really, and not overthinking it, and it was working for him. The challenge now is to keep that sort of freedom of mind and clarity of thinking in view of everything that's happened in these very eventful first 5 racks.
Cheers. Thank you.
If you just look at where the 9 ball is in the red 3, there's definitely a combination looming. Whoever gets the 2 might be winning an early rack.
Extension called.
Is he having a go at the bank? Oh, This is clever. What a shot he's played there. A little stun run through. The sneak in behind the green 6. Here's another look. Watch the cue ball here. Wow. He's not letting up. Fair enough, Skyler Woodward will not miss the kick shot, but he's kicking it safe. Oh, okay, he can get through to this rail. I thought this rail was cut. He might miss this because he's got to play it with loads of right. He's trying to pot it. Good effort.
Yeah, perhaps lured into attempting the pot by the knowledge that that 3-9 combination is sitting there so invitingly. But now it looks as though it's going to be Krause who gets the opportunity to shoot at us.
On the rail, full table, and when you look at the overhead, he's got to actually make this. He's not guaranteed. It's not easy.
It's for 6-0. Well, early on, he was having things handed to him a bit, but now he's actually starting to play very nicely. And Mickey Krause is past the halfway mark. He leads 6-0.
ball up behind the 7 and the 5. Doesn't matter if he doesn't get the hook. He's done well to hit it that thin, and he's got the top rail. Couple of options here. He can bank the 4 back up table in a straight line, or he may be able to get in behind it and play a bit of a kick and stick type shot. He's playing the kick and stick. I can see where he's aiming on the cue ball. He's putting a bit of left English on it, so he's going in behind. Played it to perfection. He got a safe 4 ball. Top of the table from Woodward. Chua will be coming out here. If he pots it, he's not going to get on the purple 5. So this is purely about staying at the table. Try and pot your 4 ball and then play safe on that 5 ball. Woodward needs an angle here to get on the purple 5, because the purple 5 will go in the pocket where he's about to pot the pink 4. This is the difficulty of what I was saying earlier on, where if you've never played this game and you think, oh, it's easy because the pockets are a bit more generous, well, you're wrong. How do you get on the purple 5? You've got to play a genius positional shot here. That's why he's missed it by a mile. Clearly going through it, isn't it? Everything that's happened in this match in the opening 7 racks. We've had everything.
What's he been left with here, Carl?
Well, he's not going to go for the pot. He's going to play safe. He might fluke it. Oh, he's fluked a hook. Everything is going Krause's way in this match. It was a poor attempt at a safety, and look at that. He's hooked him behind the 9.
No wonder he's smiling, yeah. And those pool guards you like to talk about. Smiling on him today.
Beautiful kick and stick to lock him up in jail behind the Bumblebee 9.
Extension called.
It's a shot that always looks really nice when the pros pull that one off. The kick and stick. He's got the jump cue here. He's jumping over the 8. 2 rails. Trying to kick and stick with the jump cue. He was close. He's going to leave a shot for Woodward. Is this the time where Woodward starts to claw his way back?
Managed to avoid everything there, and he's just squeezed past the 7 as well, so really he should get it done from here. It's not been a day when we can rely on anything really, though. What else is going to happen in this match? We've seen so much already. Oh, well, he's had a little bit of a result there, even having a chance of potting the 7. Did not intend to collide with it. Nicely played though with the moose head, so she'll get it done from here and make it 2 in a row. Just look how hard he's had to battle even to get these 2 racks back. Just underlines what a huge task he was facing. It's 6-0 down, but it's a task he's at least setting about here. With some progress, Krauss's lead is now 6-2. Yeah, from Krauss's point of view, it was Woo Kun Lin who sent him to the one-loss side, and he had a tough match in losers qualification against Naoki Oi, who won a ranking event in Finland last weekend. But he got past that, then saw off the young American, Sam Henderson, and it's been really tough since then. Chang Yu-Lung was seen off in the last 32. We'd seen Chang play so well to beat Jason Shaw earlier. And then very experienced opponents in both of his matches yesterday. Albin Ocean, he saw off comfortably 10-2. Very different sort of match, though, against Ko Ping Chung, who'll be defending his US Open title in just over a week from now. Krauss raced out into a big lead. Ko came back at him, and in those situations, you sort of always expect that the more experienced player is going to get the job done and overtake his opponent. But it wasn't like that. Krauss came home 10-7, and that's why he's here playing for this sort of money. 9,500 guaranteed once you get to the semi-finals. Goes up to 15,000 if you're in the final, as Johan Chua already is. And then tonight, it's a case of double your money. And remember, every one of those dollars translates as a ranking point, a Reyes Cup point, Mosconi Cup point as well. The revival has begun.
First stroke.
Yeah, it wasn't a great break. He lost a cue ball, come off that side rail, and I think he went straight into the pocket. Yeah, they hurt. They do your head in fact.
And play study shot clock.
That sinking feeling once more for Woodward. It's so similar, really, to both of those big semi-finals last year. As I was saying, just fell behind early on and looked more and more frustrated and never really got into the match, having played really well and made so many of the headlines in the week leading up to getting to the semi-final, which of course he did yesterday with those 2 great comebacks, including one against the world champion.
Yeah, in a winner break format there at 6-2 down, Woodward to break, he'll have just been thinking, just put a little 2-pack together. 6-4 with the break. Feels very much like a tight match. Unfortunately, he lost the cue ball.
Man, Krause has got to make this count, really. It's an ideal chance to not quite stop the rot, but reassert himself after all his early domination. Of course, we always say when a player is trying to get to a landmark moment, which obviously getting to the final would be for Krause, it's getting over the line that's a huge part of the challenge. You can play really well, but those last couple of racks can really test the nerve and show us what you're made of. So, of course, the bigger the lead you can have once you get up around 9 or 10, the less pressure there is and the easier it becomes to shake off those mental challenges. And that's what Krause is doing at the moment. So Woodward from 6-0 down, won 2 in a row, but handed the initiative straight back to Krause. And with ball in hand, the Dane has opened a big, big gap again. He's only 4 away from his first major final. Krause leads 7-2. Mickey Krause taking full advantage of Skyler Woodward's scratched break to win rack 9 and go well clear again in this European Open semi-final. 7-2 now, just the one break and run. And that's a significant stat in a way, because it gives some indication of the fact that it's not really been all about Krause playing really well. He had a good spell in the middle of the match, but other than that, he's just been picking up on the opportunities that Woodward has given him. There have been plenty of those.
And it's rack 10. Mickey Krause to break. He's leading the match by 7 racks to 2.
This is the time for the Woodward comeback because he's 5 racks behind. 9-5 down to Ghost. 110-9. Yeah, he's made the 1. Good break. He's got a shot on the 2. Queuing off the rail, but it's going into a big pocket from that angle. All he's got to do is roll forward with the cue ball. Big chance this for Mickey Krause.
And 8-2 wouldn't be insurmountable. We've seen that sort of deficit overturned occasionally in the past, but you just wonder, is Woodward in the frame of mind for a massive turnaround? Certainly was yesterday, but it's a different day today, and it's such a pity for him that it all goes back to what I think you have to say is a misplaced sense of injustice over a refereeing call as early as the 2nd rack. Talked earlier about how Krause was starting to make progress and then had it stalled by COVID. But when things got back up and running again in 2021, he picked up where he'd left off, really. Got to the last 32 of the US Open. He was still only 20 at the time, so that was a good achievement. He was part of the Denmark team that got to the quarter-final of the World Cup of Pool that year. And only narrowly lost to Germany, who went on to win it. And then things stalled a bit for a couple of years. He kept getting to last 64s and no further, and there were some close matches, most obviously at the US Open, at that stage when he had a good lead against Francisco Sanchez Ruiz, and then FSR got it back to Hill and had a fluke in the deciding rack. And Krause was absolutely devastated by that. But this year, he's found that extra gear. UK Open last 16. World Championship last 16. This time he knocked out FSR at that last 64 stage. Followed it with victory over Billy Thorpe. And of course, having had that great run in Jeddah, the question was, could he build on it? And he's built on it very, very quickly. He won a smaller ranking event in Romania a couple of weeks later. And here he is now, 4 racks away from playing in a major final.
I think the idea was to hook Skyler Woodward. Cue ball finished near the rail, so he went for the pot. What a pot as well. You can still just flick the rail as well. Oh, he's overdone it. He's overspun it. Woodward. This is on. A little thin cut to steal the rack at the very end. Still very much game on this. Don't be sat there with your cup of tea thinking this match is over. It is not. Krause still needs 4 more racks. It's a race to 11 now. And if I was the coach of Skyler Woodward, after he pots this 9, I'd be over in his ear saying, keep it tight. Don't give it to Mickey Krause. Make him work for it.
And Skyler Woodward.
And all too often in this match, he hasn't really made Krause have to work too hard for it. Woodward made the errors. Krause cleaned up afterwards. That rack is the other way round. It wasn't the easiest of 8s, but still would have been expecting to get it. He was well off target, and Woodward didn't have much left to do after that. So 7-3. Now, Woodward has won 3 of the last 4. This is the 8th that Krause missed, Carl.
Yeah, it wasn't easy. Very steep angle. And maybe slightly quit on the shot, bit of deceleration, but So it's also worth noting that Skyler Woodward is the USA captain. He's played in a lot of Mosconi Cups, and you know, we're trying to build the sport, we're trying to build the tour. You know, there's not millions of dollars to be won, you know, by each individual. So the fact that Woodward is the captain and he's in the team, the pressure's sort of off him, really. As opposed to, if you look at Mickey Krause, he's not just playing to lift this title.
That's the 11th rack. Skyler Woodward.
And you would be
break.
thinking, well, just worry about your match, play one
to
shot
3.
at a time. But believe me, pool players are not like that, and neither is Mickey Krause. He'll be thinking about the rankings. He knows if he wins this tournament, it's not just the prize money here up for grabs. There's all the rewards that come with it, Michael. The break is not working. You know, Jason Shaw is the captain for Team Europe. Said it a little earlier. You'd be a brave captain to pick a rookie. And I'm sure Mickey Krause knows this. He knows he needs to qualify. Top 3 on the rankings qualify for the Mosconi Cup and the Reyes Cup.
Yeah, I think Woodward wants to qualify automatically himself to free up another wild card and not have to use it on himself. If he wins the tournament, or, well, even gets to the final, he puts himself in a strong position. But I know what you mean. There's less pressure when he's not actually playing for his place as such. And Billy Thorpe is someone else who's right in it. Came into this week only just behind Woodward, actually. Thorpe in 7th place in the American standings. And you would have to feel, you were talking about not wanting to pick rookies, Carl. Well, Billy Thorpe is anything but a rookie in the Mosconi Cup, so he may well be in the mix for one of those captain's picks if he doesn't make the top 3, which is going to be a stretch now from the position he's in.
Yeah, Billy Thorpe, who won't mind me saying this, he's turned his career around a little bit this year. He sort of went off the radar for a while, but he's back in the gym. He's knocked the partying on the head, and he's giving everything 100%. He wants to represent USA in Florida at the end of the season, especially with his good friend Skyler Woodward being captain. You know, they're really good friends, and what kind of a friend would be if he didn't pick his best friend? I mean, be a bit rotten, wouldn't it? 2 balls going to come near the pocket here. Krause is going to have a chance to steal the rack.
Yeah, just to wrap that up, if Woodward does win the tournament, then he will be in the automatic spots as it stands.
It's his 3rd final in the Open tournaments. We have a handful of Open events, 128 pros, and then 128 qualifiers make up the Open events. So if you're sat watching and you think these guys are no good, I can do better, enter a qualifier. Let's see what you got. And then we have the majors, the US Open, just next week in Atlantic City. The World Pool Championships.
Attention called.
Were just a few weeks ago in Saudi Arabia. And of course the World Pool Masters, which was also in Germany, in Hildesheim. Ferro Gorst. Well, he holds the Masters and the Worlds. Can he hold all 3 majors at the same time in the same calendar year? I mean, that would be some feat, wouldn't it, Michael, if Gorst can do that?
Well, you do that, just go and put your feet up until the Mosconi, because it's already a dream year. Not that he'll do that, of course. Gorst is always on the go, playing in tournaments. And you mentioned the World Masters there. You know, these are all the narratives that run as well, because if Krause could win this tournament, he gets himself up into the sort of position where you're getting into those tournaments as well. Success breeds success in the current era of the World 9-Ball Tour.
Yeah, top 14 ranked players automatically in the World Pool Masters, then 2 wild cards. Krause wins this, he moves into the top 16. Wins the tournament, not this match.
So he got to a similar stage, really, in the previous rack. And it all started to go a bit wrong. Left himself a tough 8-ball, missed it, and Consequently, missed the chance for an 8-2 lead. This time, it's broken down even earlier, and it's another great opportunity for Woodward to steal. Feels like the match is starting to turn, Carl.
There's a lot on the stake for Mickey Krause. I know we keep harping on about it, but it is our job. And that's all Woodward's got to think. Keep the heat on. 7-4 now with the break.
Mickey Krause, he really should have been leading 9-2 by now, and one away from the hill, starting to make plans for his first appearance in a major final, and all of a sudden, Woodward is back to only 3 behind. Now we saw Billy Thorpe, and it's always great to have a word from Billy. So here's Abby to do just that.
Yeah, Billy Thorpe, your man Skyler Woodward, is getting himself right back into this contest now, isn't he? The comeback king this weekend.
Yeah, he sure is, and he's going to have to show us it again, which if anybody can do, it's definitely him.
And you must be really proud of the way that he's been able to put the early racks behind him, the mistakes that were made, obviously that decision in rack 2, the way he's put that behind him.
Yeah, we were just talking last night about being strong-minded and stuff, and I think he's got one of the strongest minds, so he's definitely capable of doing it. He just needs to regroup and collect his feelings, and he'll be all right.
And for you personally, of course, he's going to be the Mosconi Cup captain. How hopeful are you of getting yourself into that team for this year's tournament?
I mean, I'm just because he's my best friend, I hope he doesn't pick me for that, but I'm trying my hardest, and I'm just going from there, so we'll see, but I mean, I just hope I have a good U.S. Open and we'll go from there.
Yeah, I don't think he'll need to do it because you're best friends, but the way you're playing at the moment, I think it'll be based on that. Very best of luck at the U.S. Open. Let's get back into this one and see if Skyler can make another comeback.
This is brilliant, isn't it? You're well behind in a match, and a rolling cast of your best buddies appear over your shoulder to big you up and try to boost your frame of mind.
Yeah, it seems a bit rotten. We could do with some of Mickey Krause's pals having a word.
I was thinking that, yeah.
It's not going to be a good outcome for Sky. Billy Thorpe there saying, hope he doesn't pick me because he's my best friend. Don't talk rubbish, Billy Thorpe. You won't care. You just want to be there.
Oh, yeah, he'll turn up all right. But you know what? It might just put a little bit of reluctance in Woodward's head. If it becomes a close call between Thorpe and someone else, he might think, I don't want people thinking I've picked him because he's my mate.
Who, though? Like, between who? Thorpe and who? I mean...
See, I could say anyone now and you just ridicule me for it.
Yeah. It's not just that, you know, Billy Thorpe's a big character. He wears his heart on his sleeve, and the fact that it's in America, you know, the American fans, the last 3 or 4 Mosconi Cups have been brilliant. They really have. It's, in some ways, it's a lot louder than when it's in Europe now, which was never the case.
Extension, please.
Very passionate. And you know, something else, even when the day's play is over and, you know, you're walking out the arena, a lot of the European fans, they hang around with the American fans. It's rivalry, but it's good rivalry. You know, a lot of the European players hang around with Skyler Woodward and Billy Thorpe. The likes of Jason Shaw, myself even, we get on great with Skyler. That was a push, and I tell you what, he's going to get this one back. Krause will be having none of this. There you go.
Skyler, please play again.
I'm surprised he got out the chair there.
I think that was the quickest push-out decision ever.
Yeah, it went drastically wrong, that one.
Again, Carl, for anyone who might be watching 9-ball for the first time, if you could just briefly outline from a player's point of view what the push-out is all about.
Yeah, the next shot after the break, whose ever shot it is, you're allowed to play a push-out. And that means you roll the cue ball, hit a load of balls, but wherever they finish, you can play the shot or hand it back. Well, I tell you what, Krause come out the chair and he looked just to see if he was hooked. He didn't see if the combo was on, and it was on. Yeah, Michael, he didn't even look. Didn't look. He just looked to see if he was snookered, and he was.
You've got to be forensic, haven't you? Imagine someone like Albin Ocean in that situation. He would check out every single possibility before making the call on it.
And if he can go on and clear the rack here, biggest moment. I mean, we've got a lot of big moments, don't get me wrong, but that just shows you check everything. He missed the trick there. I'm sure, you know, Mickey would have played the shot if he'd have spotted the combo. Needs a little angle. I think he's got it. I think that's good. He can just stun over to the right a little bit to make the 6 ball easier. Just a few balls away, Michael. And was he 6-0 down at one point?
Yeah.
Wow. Oh, Skyler Woodward with a twitch. Where's he going to finish? It's not finished too bad. Things are happening here.
Oh, he's well off target, and not for the first time with that sort of shot. We could speculate, of course, just thinking out loud here, that Woodward actually knew that shot was on with the push-out scenario and did that little shrug of disappointment almost to throw Krause off. Would that be a thing players would do?
It can be a thing players do as Krause goes airborne and nails it. But the fact that Woodward whacked a few balls around the table, he could never account for the combo lining up. But sometimes you would roll the cue ball in a certain spot and like throw your arms up as if you've played a bad one.
But even after the shot, maybe he could have noticed that the balls had come to rest in that position, spotted it. Anyway,
yeah, no,
just a thought.
It's a fair point. This is tough. He's missed one like this earlier on. Yep, they're not easy, them. They are not easy shots. Ooh, well, let's not forget Skyler missed the 5 ball. So they've missed a ball each in this rack. He's got to play a good safety.
It's starting to feel like a huge rack, isn't it? After the way it's played out and the difference between winning it and losing it for both players.
You know, at the top of the show, Michael, obviously we stand right in front of that table, and often I just look at the table and I look at the pockets, I think, crikey, they look scary. And it doesn't half make for much more drama now in the game of 9 ball. It's a fast-paced game anyway, even safety shots, 3 or 4 safeties in, and someone's got an opportunity. So you've still got all the flair and the shots. But what is happening now on tour is certain pots have just become that little bit more difficult. So there's a bit of uncertainty in the players. There's more drama to watch. He's trying to lock the cue ball behind the 7 or the 8. Woodward's going to go airborne here, try and nail the 6 down the rail. Absolutely sweet as a nut, straight down the rail, heart of the pocket.
And there's still work to be done here, but to pot that and even give himself a chance on the 7 is absolutely wonderful.
Look at this, he even draws the cue ball back.
You think his mindset has improved a bit since earlier?
One good shot here. A couple of ways of playing this. One rail, stun it back over. Bit of right. Spin it 2-3 rails. Plays the 1 rail. Oh, this will be okay. This little bounce off the rail will help. There you go. That is plumb. Now, if there's one little thing in Woodward's game that is lacking now and again, he just cues one pretty bad and misses a ball. He's got to stay still. I'll tell you what, he is fighting hard. This is for 7-5.
Skyler Woodward didn't win any of the first 6 racks. He's won 5 of the 6 they've played since then. It looks like a 50-50 match now, at best for Krause. His lead is all the way down to 7-5. Seen so much of the vast repertoire of what can happen on a 9-ball table in this match, and a lot of it in rack 12. Wonderful jump shot on the 5 by Mickey Krause, but it would all be to no avail in the end. Indeed, it wasn't even the best jump shot of the rack, because Skyler Woodward, after applauding that, played this wonderful 6 and even gave himself a chance on the 7 as well. Skyler Woodward looked like the world was against him earlier on in a controversial refereeing call, on his way to going 6-0 down, and his head was all over the place. But that was a very simple way to complete the recovery to only 2 behind now and right back in it. Billy Thorpe and Fedor Gorst, his 2 big buddies sitting there. Billy's having a word with him. A couple of great wingmen to have.
Skyler
So as I say, he's made it back to only 2 behind now, which really is the point at which you feel he's got within touching distance of Mickey Krause, who's starting to miss a few. Not necessarily easy ones, Carl, but balls he was potting earlier.
Yeah, and the thing with this is I've been in this position loads of times. 2015, I was 9-1 down in the semi-finals of the US Open. I managed to come back, and what happens there is, this is the feeling you get. You start to enjoy it. You start to think to yourself, it's easy winning matches when you're in front. Yeah, it starts to get fun, and Skyler knows Billy and Fedor are sat front row, and every rack that goes by, he'll be giving him a little smile. And that's what he did against Fedor, actually. I was stood with Jason Shaw. Oh, no. Thought he'd scratched there. He's been lucky there. Yeah, I was stood with Jason Shaw behind the scenes, and every time there's a break, Skyler would come out and he'd be laughing and joking and saying, oh, I'm playing horrible, and he'd keep winning racks. And if you remember at 9-5 against Fedor, Skyler come out of a hook, fluked a ball, and did a full table bank, and they both walked out the arena, and Fedor was about 3 feet in front. And as he walked past, Skyler shouted, hey, Fedor, did you like that? I'm coming for you.
Please.
And he just started laughing. And that's the feeling you get, and that's where Skyler will be at right now. He'll be enjoying this now. Krause won't, even though he's winning. That's all gone wrong. He can't pot this ball, but he's got the upper hand with the safety.
A double good fortune, really, for Woodward in his previous visit to the table. Not just the fact that he didn't scratch, but also that he didn't leave the 2 on.
The extension, please.
Billy Thorpe and Fedor Gorst, joined by Emily Fraser from Matchroom. Fedor Gorst knows all about big pressure occasions. He's been through so many of them in the 2 big tournaments he's won this year. Much easier to laugh and smile when you're just sitting watching.
What a great pot. He's actually very good at thin snipping the ball. Look how thin that is from the overhead. Brilliant pot. You may have a look at the 9 ball here with the safety. Oh my word. He would love to have that one back. I'm surprised he didn't go for the combo and still hide the cue ball where he went. Skyler Woodward put himself in this position. It wasn't Mickey Krause. The previous shot from Skyler, well, it went all wrong. He may be able to kick off the right-hand rail just below the purple ball and try and make the red 3 in that pocket. If he does, he's out of a chance of landing on the pink 4. He's out of a chance of landing on the pink 4. Is he going to slow down? Is Skyler Woodward on this pink 4? We don't know yet, but we're about to find out. No, he isn't on the pink 4. You can see a piece of it. He's had to play safe. Cue ball needs to slow down.
Having had the massive lead and now finding himself back in a close contest, Carl, what do you think Mickey Krause's frame of mind is right now?
Just keep going, don't you? You just keep battling. You're still 7-5 up. You know, keep playing good safeties, which he has done. I know Skyler's on the comeback because he was 6 up, but you know, if he wins this rack, he's still 8-5 up. It's a healthy lead in a race to 11. You'd certainly rather be 8-5 up than down. It's all between the ears, isn't it?
Yeah, and I guess this is why you try to build a big lead, so you'll have something to fall back on when the backlash comes from your opponent. Now, needs this to fall nicely for him. Just the hint of anxiety in Woodward's body language there, and he hasn't got the outcome he was hoping for. I think it's fair to say these are the biggest moments of the match so far. It's a definite chance for Krause to reassert himself. He's passed up a number of good chances in recent racks. This is a really good one. It all looks very routine. This can send the message to Woodward just how tough a task he's still got. Krause did most of the heavy lifting early on in the match. He was halfway to victory and passed it after half a dozen racks. Now just picking off one here and there will be enough to get him over the line. Woodward has to go on a great run. The Americans' momentum has, for now at least, been brought to an end. 3 in a row for Woodward. But Krause has got back on track with that. He needs 3 more to reach the final. Well, it's funny, ever since we talked about the opportunity for coaching, Skyler Woodward's pals have come out in force. I think he's having a little word with them again. Yeah, Billy Thorpe. You saw on the caption, actually, when we were talking to him earlier, 2-time Mosconi Cup winner. They were the back-to-back successes in 2018 in London and then the following year in Las Vegas. Woodward was such a key part of both of those. MVP in both, as we were saying earlier. Ferro will, of course, be there at the Mosconi Cup. He's the only player to have played for both sides. Represented Europe in the COVID Mosconi in Coventry in 2020 when they won. Then didn't make the team for Europe the following year, but has switched nationalities to the US almost a year ago now. And having become the first to play for both teams in the Mosconi, his next target is, as quickly as possible, to become the first to win Mosconis for both sides. I'd love to be part of their chat, Carl. It looks like they're having a great laugh down there. Serious business out on the arena floor, though. 8-5 Krause.
Same again. If you're breaking it around 70% of what you can, if you don't pot the one ball, it's very rare another ball goes in.
For Krause, that ends a run of having made the one in the side 4 times in a row, having not made it at all from his 4 attempts prior to that.
He can pot this ball. That shows you how thin he's got to hit it. And he's not got much room for error because the angle that the yellow on ball's going towards the pocket means you can't cheat the pocket as much. Didn't go for it. If you don't fancy it, you don't shoot it. Simple.
The extension, please. Mickey. Cheers.
What do you think, Carl? Room for that?
Extension called.
It looked more promising from this angle here.
Yeah, I think that does go. Whenever you feel like there is a ball sort of in its way, even though it goes, you always seem to hit that 7 ball. Let's see. Beautiful pot. As you said, Michael, it did go.
So the momentum has stalled. He's got to get it back here because really to fall any further behind at this stage, 9-5 down. Okay, so he won from that score yesterday in a race to 10, but can he keep going to the well? Possible, of course, but can't keep leaving yourself in these situations. And that is not where he intended to be.
Yeah, if the cue ball would have kept rolling, guaranteed to get on the 5, it's easier. Now he's just got to play a cute positional shot. It's difficult to see from here what angle he's got, but he may try and soft draw into the 7 full ball, but it's got to be soft. Oh, he could sneak round the back. Nicely done there. From Captain America. He's fighting hard to get through to his first ever Open final.
I've really struggled to think of many more prominent names in the game over the last 6 or 7 years who haven't been to the final of a tournament of this stature, especially as he's been close so many times. Talked about those 2 semi-finals last year. He's been a World Championship quarter-finalist. Has been in a big team final in the World Cup for the USA in 2017, along with Shane Van Boening. Lost to Austria. Now, once again, the job is almost done.
Yeah, well, you've got to just stun your ball here and take a trickier 9 ball. Don't try and force this ball in because it'll rattle. Yeah, you see what he's done there? Pay attention, amateur pool players. Take what the table gives you. He knew trying to force the cue ball out would make the pot a lot more difficult. Instead, he's decided to leave himself a 9 off the rail. Big shot.
Skyler Woodward will
Just an easier 9 than that. Into the same pocket earlier in the match. So Krause had his first dry breaks and all the way back in rack 4, and it cost him. Now he's going over to his support team. It's hard to believe this is the same guy we were looking at about an hour ago. Woodward's demeanour, his mood, just all changed so much, and it looks as though he's back to that mindset that he's talked about so much this week. Coming here following the birth of his 2nd child just a couple of weeks ago, he talked about having a very clear mind and just getting on with playing the game. He wasn't in that mode earlier in this, particularly after the unnecessary controversy, really, over the refereeing call in the 2nd rack. But look at him now, he's right back in that mode and fancying the job.
Emily Fraser joining Camp USA there. I'm sure she just wants to see a close, hard-fought battle. Skyler still having a few words. He's liking it out there, look.
Well, this is what he was like, as you were saying yesterday, during the comeback against Gorst. He was all smiles and shrugged shoulders and let's just see what happens. And it worked for him so well. What do you think, 50-50 now, or is Woodward the favourite with all the momentum he's got in terms of the scoreboard?
Thank you, rack 15. Skyler Woodward to break. Trailing by 8 racks to 6.
Yeah, I don't know. Still slightly favouring Mickey Krause just with the scoreline. But if Woodward keeps breaking like that, It needs the 6 ball to get out of the way, which it has done. This is key. If you pot the 1 ball in that side pocket, you've simply got more chance of a break and run. You've got more chance of landing on the lowest ball, haven't you? If you don't, you're going to struggle to find another ball going in the pocket. It seems to be that way, and there seems to be more clusters. Now, Woodward has missed a few balls. He's thrown a few in. He's actually missed a similar type of shot into this pocket. He may just kill the cue ball here and then try and shoot the pink 4 into one of the top corners. Could also play for the combo on the green 6. Oh, he's played for in the corner and he's plumb. You could not put that better with ball in hand. That's the big shot of this rack. If you look at the table now, Michael, they're all there, aren't they? Just connect the dots. How much is your life easier when you have got a better cue ball? Your next pot is just stress-free. Don't forget, after this rack, there'll be a little break, and how sweet will the break be for Skyler Woodward? He'll be just 1 behind. If you're just tuning in, Skyler Woodward was 6-0 down in this match. He's been down in his previous 2 matches as well.
Yeah, not just down, but well down in both of them. Late on against Gorst, early on against Massiol. Came through them both hill yesterday. It would be sensational to pull off 3 such recoveries in 3 successive matches. But if he pots 3 more balls here, he'll be breaking with a chance to draw level in the next rack.
Yeah, we'll be changing his nickname. Forget the Kentucky Kid. It'll be the Comeback Kid. He's going to do it, you know. He's going to just be 1 behind Michael. He has showed a lot of heart.
And what he's showed us here is his first break and run of the match.
Skyler Woodward.
And that is the wonderful effort which gets him back to only 1 behind. Try calling this one now. 8-7 Krause, race to 11 for a place in the final. The way this second semi-final began, we might have expected it would be over by now, and Mickey Krause will be starting to make plans for a European Open final tonight against Johan Chua. But things have changed greatly here in Fulda over the last hour or so. And now Skyler Woodward, from 6-0 down, trails by just a single rack.
Go up there.
Carl, these are the numbers, but it only tells a part of the story.
Well, it's 8-7. We've had 15 racks. Forget about what's gone on. We've seen everything. If you look at average balls on the break, it's under 1. That tells us, it tells the players, it tells the viewers that both players are probably going to get opportunities. No one's going to run away with the end of this match. Everything else is fairly level, isn't it? Just look at that. Krause is more than likely to win the rack if he has the break.
I think if you had a stat for mental meltdowns, that would be relevant to this match, because Woodward did seem to go walkabout in his head for a couple of racks early on, but seems to have moved on from that now.
Thank you. It's
after
rack
the
16.
dispute with the referee.
Skyler Woodward to break. Trailing by 8 racks to 7.
Yeah, Mickey Krause's face there, he sort of looks a little bit concerned, but that's just how he plays. It's how he looks focused. During the breaks and in between the racks, he won't be speaking to somebody in the front row and laughing and joking. Styles make fights. And this has been a great fight. He's made the one again. That's back-to-back ones on the break, but he's no shots, has he, on the blue too? Well, I say he's no shot. He might be able to just see the potting angle. If he can, it's tough anyway, so...
There was a 2-ball a couple of racks ago, potentially into the same pocket, that barely looked on. Well, he made that pot. I'm not sure whether he was even attempting it there. That has not finished where he would have hoped.
Oh, real classy pot there. It really was. Super thin. Right in the middle of the bag. He's going to need a real good one here. This is actually easier, but it'll feel harder. Didn't go in clean, did it, Michael?
Did you detect quite a bit of movement there?
Maybe a slight deceleration. Yeah, I mean, listen, it weren't far away, but the most important thing is the positioning for the 4. I don't actually know where he was playing for this pink 4.
The extension, please.
Oh, look at this. He's come round to have a nosy, to shoot it into the corner pocket where Woodward's sitting. These were always horrible. No, he's not. Is he going for the middle? Is he playing safe? Oh, wow. Watch out, Chua.
No, it's going to pull up just in
Krauss.
time.
Oh! Well, that was with you, Michael. I thought he was going to stop.
Did the old Tiger Woods, stopping on the lip and then toppling over.
I'll tell you what a combo he played, though. You know, he lost the cue ball. Bit of a rush of bloodshot. The 8 wasn't over the pocket, it was near the pocket, the distance as well. Anyway, forget about that. Who cares? 5 balls, ball in hand. To tie it up.
Probably wouldn't have backed Woodward from this position too keenly early on in the match, but the way it's turned around, it'll be a big surprise if he doesn't get it done here. Lost the opening rack and has been behind ever since. That could all change in about 2 minutes' time.
if you look where the brown 7 is, he's going to be playing from the brown 7 to the 9 ball. It is crucial for most players, but it's even more crucial for Woodward to get straight on the 9, because he is prone to missing the odd 9. He did it against Ghost. He left one over the pocket. He's done it in this match. What angle's he got on the 7? He feels like he's had a flyer. Yeah, okay. If this is straight. Oh, it's weird. I don't know if he can get dead straight on the 9 unless he really draws it back. It's good, you know. It is good. And just at the right time in this match, near the very end, he seems to be cueing his best.
Skyler Woodward was 6-0 down, and much to the approval of his buddies in the front row. Since then, it's been 8 out of 10 racks. Well, when it was 6-0, Carl, you would have thought if he manages to get level, even in time for it to be 10-all on Fort Hill, that would be some achievement. To be level, with as much of the match as this still to go, nobody could have foreseen that.
No, the things that have gone on in this match, and he knows it as well. Billy Thorpe, he's a pro on tour, and he's also Skyler Woodward's best buddy, and that's who he keeps having a laugh and a giggle with. It's all about mental strength, never giving up, trying to apply some pressure on your opponent, in this case, that man there, and he looks the more worried, doesn't he? I know this is his style, but definitely.
Winning it and standing there tonight with the European Open trophy.
We all squared.
It was all looking so good from an hour or so ago. Must be some touch of mild panic setting in somewhere. All of a sudden, it's 8-all.
Foul stroke.
Ooh, well, 3 balls went into the side pocket. There was almost a 4th. Most importantly, one of them was the cue ball. Now, what's he left?
Yeah, it's that break that we do see now and again where you overscrew the cue ball. One railer straight to the side, horrible feeling. Not what you really want to do when you've just spent the last 35 minutes coming back into the match. Bit of work to do though. As you said, he potted 2 balls on the break. The red 3 is a little funny. Once he plays the combo on the red 3 onto the green 6, that red ball just squirt out to the right. So the chances are he'll end up potting the red 3 into the bottom right corner, but pace is everything here. Pace is your friend. Gotta play this pretty soft. He didn't pot the 6 in the middle of the pocket, so the angle changed. That's why the 3 didn't squirt further over. If you apply pressure to anybody, anybody can stumble. This is professional sport. This is what it's all about. And he wasn't far away from the pot. Not ideal.
The extension, please.
the sort of shots that test your cueing under pressure. We've seen Krause miss quite a few of that nature of shot. Now, it's affected Woodward as well.
The previous 2 shots we've just seen miss, Michael, are unmissable on club tables and the older style tables we used to play on some of the Mosconi Cups and World Cups of pools. And I mean, they're unmissable. Oh, he's come with a big bank. What a shot. Even Billy Thorpe, Billy the Banker is his nickname. He will appreciate that one from Krause. Here's another look.
And look also at his cue ball. What an opportunity.
And I tell you what, this will just settle him back down. The fact that, you know, we're tied at 8-8 and he can just nick this rack to go back in front will make him feel wonderful. And he's going to do it.
Yeah, so much momentum for Woodward in a scoreboard sense once he got it back to 8-all.
Mickey Krause.
But any sense of inevitability is being rejected by Mickey Krause. Wonderful bank shot, great cue ball off it. From there, it was just a matter of not doing anything silly. Deposited the last 3 balls off the back of it. Krause back in front, and all of a sudden now he is only 1 away from the hill. You know, we can try to analyse this match and what might happen as much as we like, Carl, but we're seeing it here, aren't we? We're seeing shots like this, we're seeing these tricky balls being missed, we're seeing a few little mistakes, things not falling nicely for the players. You just feel it's one of those where someone's going to fall over the line, and it's impossible to say which of them it's going to be.
And you're right, there were tricky balls missed. Not easy at all, but this bank shot from Krause wasn't a dead bank. What I mean by that is when you stun the cue ball dead. Cue ball went 3 rails round the back. Watch the cue ball. 1 rail, 2 rails, then it come off this 3rd rail and landed plumb on the purple 5. And then it was this straight 9, unmissable to take the lead once again.
Rec 18. Mickey Krause to break. Leading 9-8.
He'll take this any day of the week. Getting so much better with the 1 now. 5 out of the last 6 times he's made it. This is a test, though. Suddenly, he's just starting to look a bit more comfortable again. Well, 6-0 up, but the way it's gone. I think one of the established stars of the game coming back at him like this, he might feel now if he wins that he's the one who's pulled off a miracle.
Yeah, at the top level. That pink 4 that Woodward missed at 8-all. Again, I know it was difficult, but maybe they're the ones that just need to go. Maybe that's what separates us mere mortals to the big major winners. It's their moments where you've got a chance to really turn the screw and make it 9-8. This is nice. These are unmissable. Just because of where the 9 ball is, you're going to stun the 8 ball in a couple of balls' time, and you're going to get yourself on the hill. I like to talk a lot about a player's cue ball positioning because it makes each shot a lot easier, and when Krause missed that 3-ball, Michael, and he left it over the pocket at 8-8. It was a really poor positional shot from Woodward, what led to the missed pot.
What an impressive rack he's put together here. Just seems to have got that little bit of spring back in his step. More and more as this has gone on. And this is to get to the hill. First break and run from since rack 5. Mickey Krause may yet survive this massive test. He's been put under by Skyler Woodward. The American is now going to have to win all of the last 3. It was all pretty comfortable for Johan Chua in the first semi-final earlier today against Shane van Boening. It looked like it was going to be the same story in the second semi when that man in the picture, Mickey Krause, led 6-0. All of a sudden, things started to turn and Skyler Woodward got level for the first time since the start of the match at 8-all. But Mickey Krause won a crucial 17th. He produced an excellent composed break and run to win rack 18. And now he's sitting there with closed eyes, perhaps contemplating himself in the European Open final tonight, because he only needs to win one more rack. And he will be through to his first major final.
Thank you. It's rack 19. Mickey Krause is breaking on the hill, leading by 10 racks to 8.
Where's the 2-ball coming? Well, he has a long shot. got to be marked down as a chance to win the match.
You know, he could have pushed on from 6-0 and won something like 11-2, 11-3. Would have felt great, of course, but my word, if he comes through this after everything Woodward threw at him and the mistakes he was making himself, and particularly so if he finishes it off with back-to-back breaking runs, he'll be walking so tall heading into the final, having survived all of that. But it won't be back-to-back breaking runs. So what has Woodward got now as he comes to the table for potentially one last chance?
Yeah, them long ones in these pockets. Where does the 2-ball hit? Oh, yeah. It was way too wide. It's going to be a safety, though. So good at this type of shot is Woodward. Look at this. What an exchange that was.
You talk about crowd sizes at events, and this European Open has been so well supported in Fulda for the last 3 years. But more than that, they're so knowledgeable.
Hit the 2-ball. That's it. That's all he's got to do. Just don't give up ball in hand. Yeah, good hit. Where does the cue ball finish? He'll take it. Good contact to 2-railer. Tap at the table. There's the respect. You now can see the difference. If you hit the ball out of a hook, you can see what may happen. You just leave your opponent some work to do.
Please.
If he missed it, Skyler would have ball in hand. Now the 3 and the 8-ball is a possible combination. Can he pot the 2 and get on that? Smart play. Don't try and power the ball in.
Gutsy in the circumstances, and what a chance he's got now. Nothing for him to fear. Had to win all of the last 5 against the world champion yesterday. Here, it's the last 3 he needs.
Well, he's turned an ugly table into a great chance to win the rack. 2 opening good pots. You know, as these matches unfold and you're involved in these battles, it's amazing how your emotions go up and down. That's just because of what 9-ball as a game can do to you. A very unique game to play at the highest level. You know, when you look at the game of snooker, I know it's often sort of compared because it's a table, it's balls, there's pockets and there's a cue. But in snooker, as a player, you get more chances at the table simply because of the break-off. The very first shot of a game of snooker is like a safety shot. So there's a lot of shots that can be, you know, passed from one player to another. Pool's not like that. Feels more ruthless, and that's why it's very up and down.
And it's much more instant as well, Pool, isn't it? Things can change so dramatically in a much shorter period of time.
That positional shot will wind Skyler up because he's just left himself that bit of work to do now. We look at the natural angle that the cue ball takes once potting the ball. So if he draws it back, I think the cue ball wants to stay near the rail. Let's see anyway. Yeah, he's okay. And there's that little area on a pool table where, when it's near the middle pocket, obviously there's no rail there, is there? So you've actually got more cue. You see it? Where his cue is?
Skyler Woodward.
Another 9 powered in, and Skyler Woodward will break in the next rack with an opportunity to set up his 3rd straight hill finish at this European Open. As Mickey Krause looks on, just hoping he gets another chance to do something about this. Johan Chua of the Philippines through to the final already. We had talked about the possibility of an All-American final. That's not something we've seen in a big event for a very long time. That was ended by Shane Van Boning's exit earlier today. Skyler Woodward just feels like too good a player not to win one of these at some point in his career. It's funny, you think about last year when he got to those 2 big semi-finals.
Skyler Woodward to
He
break.
was playing in the form of his life back then,
10-9.
and was heavily beaten in both. Here he is now. He's arrived in Fulda, having not had a great year so far. This time, at the very least, he's going to be within 2 racks of the final. 10-9 down.
Okay. The cue ball got kicked. This is a prime example of what being a pool player is about. You see the kiss of the pink 4? That puts the cue ball at the bottom end of the table. The pink 4 is now over the pocket, so you're guaranteed position. But you are faced with a long, straight pot. And he's got to play it rather at a certain pace, Michael, where he's got to give all the pocket a chance. Almost like a bit of a sort of roll style shot. You don't want to be pumping this ball. If it catches the top jaw or the rail, it'll stay over the pocket. Stayed over the pocket. He didn't hit it clean. He hit it into the rail. Wasn't easy, Michael.
And exactly what Mickey Krause would have been sitting there hoping would happen has happened. This is his moment. This is his chance to reach a major final.
6 balls away. Getting on the purple 5 is easy. I'm just trying to look where it may go wrong for the Woodward fans out there watching. I can only really see from the 6 to the 7, and it's all about this shot here. It's all about the angle he leaves on this green 6. What's he got? Okay, he has a little bit of an angle. He can't really stun it out. Well, maybe he can. Maybe he can stun it just below the 8. Pulling it back for the side is a bit risky. Woodward shakes his head, but that was not an easy 3-ball, buddy. Well, what a shot that is. Powered it in. How long has Mickey Krause been waiting for an opportunity like this? He was 6-0 up. It's now 10-9 in a race to 11. And he's at the table.
You think of famous Danes, great Danes as it were. Hans Christian Andersen comes to mind, writer of all the famous fairy tales. One of the great sporting fairy tales belonged to Denmark itself in 1992 when their footballers won the European Championship. And it would be a bit of a fairy tale in itself if the guy who started the year, ranked 68th in the world, was to win a major title tonight. And if Mickey Krause pots this 9, he'll have that chance. Mickey Krause Krause led Skyler Woodward 6-0. The American was all at sea, fighting mental battles with himself. But then he took the battle to Mickey Krause, got it all the way back to 8-all. But from there, Krause has won 3 of the next 4 racks. It's a big, big finish. And remarkably, he has come through to continue this wonderful summer he's having, the great 2024 he's enjoying, to claim a place in the European Open final. Johan Chua of the Philippines will be the man standing in his way. We've got the first ever Reyes Cup coming up later in the year, Europe versus Asia, and it's going to be Europe against Asia in the final here tonight. Krause is through, and the 2 Americans who we thought might contest the final tonight have both fallen at the penultimate hurdle in their quest for this title. Well, he is going to be so relieved after that. What sort of damage would it have done to him psychologically to have lost from the position he was in? But now that he's won it in that fashion, so much better than if it had stayed a runaway, because he's been put to the ultimate test psychologically in this match, and he has come through with a very, very strong finish. The finish of a champion, you might say, and come tonight, he may very well be a champion in every sense. Those are the stats of the match. There were a number of missed balls along the way, but they only added to the drama and the wonderful narrative. 2 breaking runs, one of those came at a really crucial time towards the end for Krause, getting him to the hill at 10-8. Woodward got one back, but Krause got his opportunity when Woodward missed a tough 3 in rack 20, and Krause got the job done. And he's now going to tell Carl and Abby how he did it.
Wow, Mickey Krause, what a remarkable contest that was. At 6-0, you must have been feeling pretty comfortable. What was going through your mind at 8 racks apiece?
Well, it's too many things, really. Mostly because I know Skyler, he's really good at comebacks, and he did it twice yesterday, and I just knew I couldn't let him lose, but I did it anyway.
Yeah, and that bank shot at 8-all, that was huge, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I was thinking of playing a safe, but I couldn't because he did it before where I played a safe instead of going for it, and I was just like, if I make this, I'm going to win the match.
How much more difficult is it playing on this type of table where they're just under 4 inches, and certain shots that we both know are obviously a lot easier to pot on a bigger pocket table? What's it like playing on there? Because obviously before the bank shot, Skyler had a shot on the 4-ball. It wasn't easy, and you know that, sat in your chair.
Yeah, I mean, it's all of the shots are really difficult on these tables, and to me, it's a lot more fun. It makes it exciting for everybody to watch. It makes it because you see pro players miss shots that you would never see them miss on a regular table.
Yeah, I agree. It's more fun in comms and all, watching you sweat out. How much have you been thinking about the rankings? Can you just focus on this, or is it in the back of your mind trying to get in these teams?
Well, it is in the back of my head. I really want to be on the Mosconi team. I thought about it for a very, very long time, so definitely in my back.
Yeah, and of course, you will be in the Reyes if you win the final tonight. Of course, it is your first major final. How do you feel you'll handle the occasion tonight?
It's hard to say. It's really about the position I get, things like that. You never know if Chua is going to run racks on me, so I'm just going to stay positive and hope for the best.
And of course, you were 6-1 up against Ko Ping Chung yesterday as well.
Yeah.
Did you draw anything from that experience when Skyler started to come back at you today?
Well, actually I did. So Ko Ping Chung, he came back, same thing as Skyler, and I was really just focused on the last couple of racks and be like, okay, I just need to dig down and win this match.
What are you thinking when you're sat in your chair, because the camera pans on you a lot and you're just looking straight forward as if you want to kill somebody? You know, there's not much smiling like you're smiling now, and you can see Skyler chatting to everybody. What's going through your mind?
I'm really just trying to focus on my game because I know you can't do anything about you missing balls, doing things that you expect yourself not to do. So I'm just trying to focus even more because it's tough.
And I guess you're learning a lot about yourself as well, especially when you play on this TV table.
1,000%. it's so difficult to be there, but not just difficult. It's also really exciting to be here.
Not long to go until that final. What's the plan between now and then?
Probably practice a little, maybe get a little bit of food and mental.
Very, very best of luck against Johan Chua. Not long to wait, as I mentioned, until that final. It is coming live to you. It is Johan Chua against Mickey Krause. And what a thriller it is in prospect. It comes to you from 5:30 p.m. You do not want to miss this one. It is the final of the third staging of the European Open. And it is going to be Asia taking on Europe. You do not want to miss this final. Make sure you come back and join us at 5:30 p.m.
You say it's all been done before. I bet I can show you some more. So come on if you feel it. You really have to be there. Look out now.